official. France has become the first country in the world to enshrine abortion as a right protected by the Constitution. Once again, Annette Young joins me on the set. She is the host of France 24's women's program, The 51%. Annette, a big, major speech for the Emmanuel Macron administration to celebrate this. A big achievement for the country, though.
It's an historic day for France because this indeed means that this nation has become the first in the world to enshrine reproductive rights within the Constitution. And, it's a endpoint of a long struggle there where President Macron gave the audience a sense of the history attached to this move. And of course, perhaps the one woman that we can thank more than ever is Simone Weil, who back in 1974 pushed very hard for abortion to become legal in France. And as a result, there were a number of people, particularly on the right side of the political spectrum, who are arguing why the need to enshrine it in the Constitution when it's been law for, 50 or so years. Well, again, as I was saying earlier, we only have to look across at the Atlantic to see we can't take anything for granted, that laws that have been in place for over a half a century can be rolled back, particularly if you have a head of state or somebody who's leading the country who feels that reproductive rights are not needed. And bodily autonomy is key. Keep in mind, as I keep saying, and this is what he talked about as well, the progress of women's rights is the progress of human rights. 51% of the population. If you can't get it right for 51% of the population, what does it mean for other communities, other minorities? So it is integral that this indeed happened. President Macron there talking about this is for every woman who's had to live in the shadow of shame. Very moving words because, as you and I know, Will, over our lifetimes, the view towards abortion has changed. It's become more and more accepted, but again, it's not something that's openly recognised or talked about the way that it should be. So the key message today is that France supports bodily autonomy for every woman living in its country.
And Annette, any idea what happens next?
I think what's interesting is he was talking about the push there to include such the right itself in the Charter of Rights for the EU. But that's going to be an interesting scenario because within the EU, what we're witnessing at the moment is a swing towards the far right. And I can't imagine a country like Hungary and its leader Viktor Orban being, supportive of such a measure. Primarily, for instance, in Hungary, women who ask for abortion are told that they need to listen to the heartbeat of their fetus before they go ahead with the procedure. We're seeing, people such as Italy's Giorgia Meloni, who at this point hasn't done anything, but has certainly the concerns are in Italy among Italian feminists that, that country might also see a move to restrict or roll back abortion rights. By contrast, in Poland, for instance, we've seen Donald Tusk become Prime Minister. He's taken over from the far-right Law and Justice Party, who basically implemented an abortion ban, much to the anger of many Polish women. Donald Tusk has a very difficult job ahead of him, apparently, to overrule and roll back that ban. But it will be interesting to see what plays out now in Europe, and France indeed has set an example. Let's see who indeed has the political wherewithal to do the same.